I'm Phaedra.
And I'm Sophie.
And this is My Best View.
Phaedra, what was your best view this week?
My best view this week is certainly seeing you in person the last, 5 days or something? Because Sophie is here on a vacation here in New York.
New York fucking city, baby.
And it is just like the most fun ever. It feels really intimate, like making direct eye contact with you like this in person, doing this. And for the watchers, there is a cat on the bed that I think you can see in Sophie's camera view. Little Mackerel is with us.
Emotional support animal. I'm going to include our fans in on a secret. It's so hard to set up a podcast. Like, we had no idea. Like, it's actually sending us, me more than Phaedra, but it's setting us both close to the edge.
I am truly shocked at how much easier this has been to do virtually. Even if you do move here one day, I'm like, maybe we won't even record in person.
I know. And it is really humbling knowing the level of people who have podcasts, particularly just dumb men.
And it was this difficult for us. I kept saying, if men do it, like, surely it can't be that complicated. And it's really been quite a humbling experience.
Yeah, I want to say we had to get like 7 people involved in the act of setting up 2 microphones. Anyway, so I hope our fans, especially the 3 who watch the YouTube, are appreciative of the lengths to which we have gone.
But it's just been so much fun. Like the last 3 or 4 nights, we have been staying up until at a minimum 1 a.m. or more like 1:32, just yapping. And like on a Wednesday night, and I have a full-time job.
And we'll stop yapping just because it's like, oh, it's actually time for bed. Not because the topics have been exhausted.
Aside from your obvious best view, which is of course seeing me, have you had another best view?
So funny enough, I did plan this trip as like kind of like a little respite from the village that I'm forced to live in right now in Germany. And you would think I'm like coming to New York, see the sights. No, I've just been literally sitting on Phaedra's couch. And I'm not mad about it.
It's a good fucking view.
It's a huge couch. So it's like, but I do feel like there's the expectation of like, oh, I'm traveling.
Like, oh, you've got to go,
go. Oh,
tour.
My best view was the Chrysler Building. Like, no, it's actually just like other humans in this home.
Oh, I'm so touched. And of course, the cats, you can't forget. And lest we forget Miss Boba, our dog.
Boba? Phaedra's family's dog was my 4th most photographed person this year on my phone.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I was like, my mom, my husband, my sisters, Boba. One thing that's just been, I don't know if you could categorize this as a view. It's certainly not the best view, but it's been maybe a reality check, is that Phaedra and I have been together like pretty much nonstop this week. But we've also been like with other people from like family, friends. We're constantly referencing our own podcast or the show, Fiancé.
In a way that is genuinely like antisocial.
But also, it's really been an eye-opener. Like, our families and friends are like really not listening because we were asking our husbands like, how many episodes have you watched or listened to? Phaedra's husband 1, mine 2.
Well,
but Phaedra's husband allegedly 1 because we said something about Soaring Heights aviation community. He goes, what's that?
Like, it's just like, don't insult my culture. Honestly, like, I find it offensive.
And then he thought it was avian community. He thought it was birds.
He's like, so they live somewhere where there's just like a ton of birds around. They're like bird watchers. And we're like, don't be aggravating.
And I want to say the reason it even came up is because we were eating dinner and we were like, I wish we were at a Stitch and Bitch and Soaring Heights aviation community right now. I also don't want to like spoil anything because we need to get into it in the podcast, but like the way we were like talking about like the fucked up things Sarper does in this episode, your dad was like, that guy sounds horrible. And we're like,
why do you keep saying he's the best guy on the show? Why do you say you're like calling him king? He sounds like a bad person. And I'm like, you don't get it.
We were like, well, like in the first episode, like it was different. Like we were like describing it. And he's like, yeah, he sounds like
a piece of shit.
Oh.
He's like, everything I learn about him, he sounds like a worse and worse person. And you know what? God bless that we have men in our lives who are good people, but that's why they couldn't be on reality TV. Speaking of Mr. Sarper, I mean, I do have to give a true trigger warning up front. I mean, if you don't want to hear anything upsetting, don't listen to our podcast in general because of the content. But I will say specifically, if like weight stuff is a trigger, please honestly feel free to skip this section because it's at the very end. So I think you can get through most of it, but there's some upsetting stuff said and please feel free to tap out.
Once we say the word prenup in the section, just turn off your phone.
Go to the next one. A relaxing
Stevi and Mahdi.
Go to Stevi and Mahdi because those people are fucking stupid and also stressful, but in a way that can't be triggering because no one else acts that way. It's just baffling. So we start in the car together with Shekinah and Sarper. And Shekinah asks Sarper if he's, quote, sure about doing this. And he says yes. And Shekinah says she has no hesitation. She wants it in red ink, which because it's not removable. And she clarifies later that they're getting tattoos together.
I thought they were like editing a contract.
I know. I was like, red ink? Like, what are we talking about? And then in a couple interviews, Shekinah says that this started because she wanted a tattoo of Sarper's name on her face, points to her jawline in like this huge section, like, yeah, I really want to get your name tattooed here. And Sarper's like, I said no. I mean, are you crazy? And Shekinah says it's the ultimate commitment, more than a ring, to get like a tattoo.
I mean, I agree.
I mean, if it's on your face, yeah.
But what I'm confused about too with it is like, maybe I'm not getting the concept, but like for someone who has so much work done for a face to look a certain way, to then just like slap like a huge cursive word on there is crazy to me. But
it's kind of like her Stevi saying that she would move to Iran for a Mahdi moment. It's like, no, you wouldn't do that.
Are just saying whatever.
So Shekinah explains that she's going to get a tattoo on her neck of Sarper's signature. Sarper says that he's going to get, well, Shekinah's going to get his name as a tattoo on her neck. He is going to get a tattoo of her lips on his neck as well, which is just like such a stressful reveal for me. And Sarper kind of laughs and says that he remembers when his mom saw Shekinah for the first time, she said to him, like, what the hell are those lips? And then Shekinah in the car is like, oh my God, that's so funny because after that, your mom went and got lip filler. And I'm like, oh my God. Shekinah is like, has a viral disease of like botched lip filler and plastic surgery is just like infecting anyone she comes into contact with.
But also this is funny to me because we were just like literally yesterday talking about how like Phaedra and I believe like what people say behind your back is like not your business. That makes it sound like we have super dramatic lives. That's not what the case. I just mean like, yeah, what's really important in your life is like what happens when you're in the room, I think.
And it's your human right to shit talk people that you, not shit talk, but like to talk about people that you love. Like, they can be annoying. Yeah.
And like, that's like this desire. Some people have to always be like, here's what so-and-so said about you. Like in case it's like, unless it's like a genuinely harmful thing that you need, like you don't need to tell people. So we're just like talking about that from a philosophical perspective. So like for me, the fact of being like, when my mom met you, this was her first impression. You have fucked up lips. Like I'm like,
but then it's so funny too because he's like about to get her lips tattooed on his neck, and I'm like, okay, what is this? What's the point of sharing this? And then he's basically saying like he loves her lips and like he's excited to get them like tattooed on him.
Also says these exact words. He said, "You deserve to have my neck to be filled with your lips."
I love that. So they arrive at the tattoo parlor. And she kind of like checks with the tattoo artist. Oh, if we get it in red ink, like you can't remove it, right? And the tattoo artist is like, yeah, it's like more difficult. Like he doesn't even say yes, and she's like, oh, good. We're getting it in red ink and we're getting tattoos so that he can't remove it ever.
Already getting a tattoo is permanent. Like getting it removed is already like plan B. So the act of like wanting to eliminate the plan B.
I mean, essentially I think this Shekinah is like looking for commitment from Sarper, and she's like convinced herself that this is the only way she can get commitment from him, that he can't like retract ever, basically.
And then I feel like later he even said something about like, yeah, if we broke up, I'd still keep the lips. It's a cool tattoo. Like he like wasn't
like fully undermining
the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. I also love it. Like, imagine as a tattoo artist, someone coming in and being like, hey, can I get this removed later, by the way? And it's just like, okay, I wouldn't even do the
going
tattoo.
Into a store being like, what's the return policy?
Which I've done. So their outfits are fairly normal here, but I'm just really enjoying how they're both wearing equally low cut tops. Did you notice this?
Her boobs were
out, mama.
I mean, it was what's like less than a millimeter. I mean, it was such like the tiniest amount you can imagine away from areola.
Yeah. And then of course Sarper is also like down to his nipples with his
nipples are always cleavage. Out. I mean,
yeah, God bless. But I love how similar they are. Like they're so simpatico in that way. Not for long, but they are in this moment. And the artist then starts tattooing Shekinah first, and he asks her how she got the idea to do this.
She's like, because I'm crazy.
And Sarper says that this morning Shekinah had a conversation with her daughter Sophie about their relationship and marriage. And we got to a flashback clip of their video call. Shekinah says to Sophie that she had agreed to not marry Sarper if Sophie did not like him, and asks what she thinks, how Sophie feels about Shekinah marrying him. And Sophie says that she'll be going to college soon, so, quote, this is really just you living your life. If you feel confident about it, then that makes me feel more reassured, end quote.
Also, like me when I hate my friend's boyfriend.
I'm like, it just kind of made me sad because I'm like, I don't know their relationship as like mother-daughter, but I just really don't get the vibe that it feels very parental. Like the way that Sophie talks to her mom feels as if she's talking to like a cousin or an aunt or something. It's
Totally.
very emotionally removed and like, I don't want to overstep, but it doesn't feel to me that Sophie looks at Shekinah as a parent who gives like guiding advice and like.
Well, I mean, I think what they talked about already of like all the like bad relationships that she kind of like dragged Sophie into. Like, I think they're kind of honest about that. But it is interesting to see like in this moment, it is kind of the vibe of, it's actually kind of exactly the vibe of Stevi asking Perry for his blessing.
Yeah.
And Perry's like, well, I trust you to do what you need to feel is right. And she's like crying. I feel like it was like kind of the same.
Yeah, it definitely feels that the roles are reversed in this parent-child dynamic, which is a little uncomfortable to see. And the artist finishes Shekinah's tattoo.
I didn't realize it was gonna be his full legal name.
Dude, I was just gonna say it's his full name, like on a government paper.
Like,
It's like
they blur out the last name for his privacy. I'm like,
which was so funny because I'm like, he's literally trying to be a public figure.
like I know his last name.
What is it, Guven or whatever? Yeah, Sarper Guven.
I know from his comedy website.
Yes, he's actually trying to actively promote it. And I also have to say, I'm so relieved it was not that big.
Do you know what I was surprised by? I was surprised she already had a neck tattoo. Somehow I never noticed it before.
Wait, I didn't notice it.
Yeah, I was surprised something else was written.
Oh, I didn't see that. Well, okay, Shekinah.
It's like, it's also just, it's funny to me to be like, I already think it's like a bit weird to get, I think it's a weird to get your partner's name tattooed on you. And like, especially if you're like not even married yet. Like, you know what I mean? Like if it's like, I don't know, for like your like 30th anniversary or like whatever, I don't care what you do. But there's something about like not even having it be like an initial or like a reference to like a little, you know, maybe like a little something Turkish or something where it's like, oh, it's a reference. It's like, no, the full legal name. It's like
like branded.
It's just like, yeah, it is branding. And it's also so like uncreative. Like it's kind of the same thing, side note, but like I always feel this way about like decor. You know, it always comes back to home decor.
You
for
love
me.
home decor.
No, but okay. The difference between getting like a piece of artwork and being like, we bought this at this little market in my, you know, in the town where we went on our honeymoon. And so it like has the meaning, but it's not like explicit versus like commissioning an Etsy person to like make a post that's like my honeymoon in X.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's like when things are so literal. So it's just kind of funny.
It is funny. So now Sarper gets on the tattoo bed and he says, I look like a picnic blanket. He's wearing like a white and blue flannel top. He's just so silly. We have to enjoy these good moments with him before he really gets inexcusably awful later in this episode. And Shekinah is watching him get the tattoo with the biggest smile. Like I've never seen her look this happy. This Shekinah at the tattoo shop, at the tattoo parlor was like Sarper anytime he's seen an animal. Like that, this is him with Ribeye the house cow. Like she was really so happy.
Yes. And that's when he said, whatever happens, I'll keep those lips there unless you cheat on me.
That was so crazy. Like, and then Shekinah's like, don't worry, I won't. But low-key unconvincingly, it was just kind of interesting. And then but you know, in the moment, Sarper finishes getting the tattoo and it is huge. I mean, her lips are huge. And I didn't think about it. I was like, oh, it's like from a print of her lips. So it's ginormous. It's like literally like 3 inches tall, 5 inches wide. It's ginormously large. Also, it's like bright red. You know, it's just like you cannot ignore it. It kind of makes me want to rewatch the cameo that he did for us because I want to see the tattoo. It's already removed.
I'm like, then we'll know.
Then Shekinah is looking at the lips on his like neck and is so excited. And she says that it's like a tramp stamp for bad boys. And Sarper is like, really? A retired one? And that's how that section ended.
Okay, you can't be licking hole when we're recording.
Mac is licking hole right now. Mac.
Yeah, let me clarify. That was a note. That was
a
note
me
to the cat.
Phaedra, you can't be licking hole right now. So we got to the second part of their section. And guys, this is where it gets really stressful. First of all, it says 5 days to wed. That felt like a huge time jump.
So random.
Was it like 2 months ago last time?
Oh, we hadn't heard any wedding details.
See,
nothing.
That was bizarre. I don't know what that is about.
Not her being like, Sophie, do I have your permission to marry him? Okay, great, because I marry him in 5 days.
Literally? It was so weird. So in a couple ITM, Shekinah explains that they're meeting with friends tonight, and she thinks, like, her friends, so you know it's going to be fucking messy as hell. And she thinks they'll be expecting wedding invitations tonight, but they won't be getting any. And she explains it's because they have decided to have like a private ceremony, just the two of them, which is so interesting because we were talking about like, why is everyone so stressed about the wedding? Why don't they just do like a courthouse thing and then have a real wedding later? So they are, but they're the only ones.
I know it really begs the question of like what every single person's thought process is, but
Yeah.
it also stuck out to me.
They go to a cocktail bar and all of her friends are there already. They meet up. And Sarper in an interview complains about having to be fake nice to Dan there.
Don't care.
Skip. All of the friends and Shekinah and Sarper get a drink from the bar, and then they go sit down at a large booth to chat. And the camera panning around the group is deadass so scary because the level of botchedness that is on display feels overwhelming. There's like 10 of them as well. In the past, it's been like 4 at a time, and you're kind of like, ooh. But 10, I was like, oh my God, I'm surrounded. It was really scary.
Botched plus Dan.
Yeah, Dan is like just like weirdly natural, and then everyone else looks like they've had 10 different faces. Sarper explains to the group that they're reaching the end of his 90 days, and a friend asks when they're getting married. And Sarper says, "We will have no wedding."
I love the way he said that.
Most ominous way to say it. And the friend is like, "Oh, what do you mean? Like, you're gonna elope?" And Sarper goes, "We will have a bedding."
And sorry, but I'm like, why didn't I think of that?
What?
Not a sexual way, but like the concept is having a wedding in bed. And I'm like, I'm always laying down on my bed. Like that would be
horizontal
great.
all the time. Sorry, you really freaked me out just now because I was like, because you know that they mean it in a very sexual way. Because she kind of explains, like, well, first of all the friends, like, their mouths are like dropped. They're like, what? And she kind of explains that a bedding is like comes from that they were in bed together one night and were brainstorming wedding ideas.
Like, actually fucking
he's inside of her and they're brainstorming wedding ideas. And as a joke, she kind of said that they should just get married in bed. And then Sarper liked the idea and then they just ran with it. And she kind of explains to everyone, it's where we're most comfortable. It's where we spend the most time. So we're going to get married in bed.
Do you want to know what's so funny? I know you're right, but because I am someone like if I have free time, like if I'm reading a book, I'd rather like lay in bed and read a book. Like I just prefer to be laying down.
Yeah.
So like I'm just like, yeah, I agree.
You're
like,
resonating.
I do spend most of the time in bed, like not even thinking about like what in bed means for them.
Because they're also like smirking as they say this. They're like, yeah, we're always in bed.
I'm just, meanwhile, I'm thinking about being like, 6 layers of sweatpants, like 4 blankets. Yes. My contraption where my iPad dangles from the top of my bed. I'm like, yeah, I would have a wedding there.
Like that's my favorite place to be. No, but they mean it as sex. But also for me, when she was saying this, I didn't even consider the wonderful way that you were interpreting it. I just kept thinking of like someone in like a hospital bed. It was kind of bumming me out. No. I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know the way she said it. So a friend named Alexandra says, don't hate me, but what about a prenup?
Why are the producers making everyone have a conversation about a prenup? And as far as I can tell, making everyone have a joint bachelorette party.
It's so funny.
It's too like identical. Like we can't have so many prenup plot lines.
Not everyone can have the same storyline. It's not interesting.
I know.
And she kind of says she never thought about it, which is not a good sign. Like, really, you didn't even think, like, that's kind of crazy at that age to not even consider it. It's okay if you want to not do it, but to not even consider it is wild. And Sarper says that in Turkey, it's a rude thing for a woman to ask a man for. And it's like just kind of funny because I think a lot of cultures think that way because most cultures are patriarchal. So it's funny to be like, in my culture, it's offensive for women to ask for rights.
In my culture, men have more privilege.
Yeah. And that's just how it is where I'm from. So shocking. And another friend, Wendy, who's the Trisha Paytas lookalike, not officially, but to me, that's how I know her, says, no one wants to offend you, Sarper, but we can't control the U.S. government about when you'll be given the right to work. And she says a prenup would just be something to, quote, put in a drawer unless the worst case scenario happens, end quote. And I was really surprised, like, Wendy, she's not talked at all really in this whole thing, but she came across as quite smart.
Well, then she revealed she's Shekinah's business manager. I was like, okay.
I'm like, oh yeah, she should be worried about what's going on with Shekinah's money. But also it's just good advice regardless.
Also, hey, business manager, why were you letting her work out of her kitchen?
I know. So to Sarper, Shekinah says it's probably a good idea for them to get a prenup. Why not? This just felt kind of manufactured. Because I'm like, okay, so you've never thought about it before. And then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, let's do it. And then Sarper says he is shocked. Like, all this is in person. He's like, I'm shocked. And he says that if they're getting married, they're committing to be together no matter what. Again, like we've talked about prenups before, and this is just like such an immature way of looking at it because it's like, if you choose not to get a prenup, that's okay. You don't have to. But That's not like a good reason to not get one.
Also, the concept of like not wanting a prenup because it's like thinking about a commitment ending, but like going out of your way to get a red ink tattoo.
Yeah.
Thinking about that it could be removed later.
And he literally, when he got that tattoo, was like, oh, well, even if we break up, I'm going to keep it because I like the lips. It's like, well, okay. So which one is it? This is where the trigger might come in for some people. And this is where I'm just going to speak for both of us because I assume we're aligned on this. I really, really, really soured on Sarper in a way that I fear cannot be unsoured unless I do some true mental gymnastics, which I reserve the right to do. But this was really quite unforgivable. He says to the whole group of friends that they can get a prenup if Shekinah wants, but he will add one clause.
And by the way, I'm thinking about Mina's clause of like, adopt my son. Not the same vibe.
Not the same vibe at all. He says, quote, I have a weight target for you, 128 pounds. I will weigh you every first week of every month, and for every pound you are over, I will fine you $1,000.
I mean, just even stringing any of those words together, let alone all of them, like
in succession. Also, okay, mind you, I already was doing such mental gymnastics when this came up because in my head, I thought, I mean, obviously, I'm not stupid. I understand. I was like, okay, most likely he's a piece of shit, fat phobic loser.
Yeah.
And also sexist. But then in my head, because I don't want to let go of Sarper so badly, I was like, okay, maybe Shekinah is underweight and she weighs less than that right now. And her doctor told her she needs to gain weight. And he's trying to like, in a misguided way, like encourage her to gain weight.
Maybe she has the weight of the world on her shoulders and he wants to make sure it's
And then the second part of the sentence came in and I was like, oh, honestly, happy to see that the friends were shocked and disgusted. That wasn't a given, no offense, but how everyone looks.
It was a superficial bunch. So I'm actually impressed that they
were kind of writing for in a way that I really enjoyed, actually.
I agree, but it kind of cracked me up because like just on the topic of like superficiality, one of them later is like talking about like the worst case scenarios. Like, I mean, what if she gained like 20 pounds? And I'm like, you think that's like the most amount of weight a person can gain?
Even if she gains 20 pounds, you shouldn't leave her. And I'm like, you have the spirit, but okay. You're right. Even 20 pounds. Good point. Anyway, so Shekinah, I mean, obviously she looks very embarrassed. And she's definitely trying to defend him in front of everyone in like a way that was really, really embarrassing. And Shekinah is like, sure, I don't care. That's fine with her. And all of her friends are like, Shekinah, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is insane. And Shekinah in an interview says that the weight clause doesn't surprise her because, quote, he's the same guy who was weighing me since day one.
I know. What? And then there's literally videos of him. It's like doctor's office role play, like sliding the scale along. Like, what do you weigh today? I'm like, why is this part of your relationship and why haven't we been informed?
Even like, I'm trying to do my mental gymnastics. Even if this is all acting and like this is a storyline they came up with, which I could totally see. I'm like, it's not a good one. Like, it's so offensive. It's not at all funny. It's just truly upsetting. So I don't, even if it's that, it's not acceptable.
This season of the show, more than others I've watched, I haven't watched every season, but it's really like speed running, like fucked up shit.
Yes.
Like, it's not just like, LOL, sugar daddy, with like a weird, like, it's like transphobia, the fat phobia. It's like,
we're hitting a lot of isms and obias.
Yeah.
Phobias. Phobias. So Shekinah is just, defending Sarper to the group of friends.
And she's like, well, I wasn't going to gain weight anyway.
Yeah, she says, it's, to her friends, she's like, guys, it's fine. It's literally like me doing the dishes and him coming up behind me and telling me to do the dishes. I'm already doing it, so I don't care. On some level, I'm like, wow, I mean, she's very honest, but that's not good. Like, I don't think we would have to explain this to, especially an adult person, but it's like, okay, if you have body weight, if you have like,
if you have body weight, listen to the podcast.
If you have body image issues, your partner, if they actually love you, they would be, of course, like supporting you through that, but trying to like in a healthy way, encourage you away from that. They're not just like enabling you. And she's like, I'm not going to gain weight, so I don't care. But she sounds so defensive. She cares so much.
This is the kind of thing, like going back to what I was saying of like, it's a bad thing when you don't want to tell your friends things. I feel like this is the kind of thing where if it had happened behind closed doors, the friends would not have been informed about the clause. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. And it's bringing me back to her, I believe in the last episode, talking about how so many of her exes were not approved by her friend group and they all had stuff to say. And I'm like, okay, Shekinah, you seem to have a terrible picker. So I actually am looking thinking that your friends are like, not even smart. They're just like have any level of sense. And they were probably right in those situations too. Not making me feel good. And Sarper says to the group, I have more assets than her, by the way. And all the friends point out, like, yeah, okay, so this prenup can benefit you too. It's not just like for her to screw you over. It's literally for both of you. We're trying to be nice to both of you. And all of the friends are mad and they're like, it's not a business transaction and you should just be getting married because you love each other, and Sarper because you love Shekinah. Like, there shouldn't be these crazy clauses about her weight. And then Sarper angrily leaves the bar. And that's where we end this section. It was not fun to watch.
It was also like not interesting in a way. Like it was like
Just aggravating.
just aggravating.
To all the people who didn't tell us that Sarper is like a piece of shit, we were set up.
The way we do have tickets to his comedy show, meet and greet.
Oh yeah, meet and greet tickets. Oh my God. I'm gonna wear like a name tag. I'm gonna wear a name tag that has my weight written on it. Up next, we have Stevi and Mahdi. It says 1 day till wedding.
That just made me like actually almost throw up.
So Stevi asks Mahdi how last night was, and Mahdi quietly says, it was good, very unconvincingly. And Stevi in an interview says Mahdi has been extremely quiet since the bachelor/bachelorette party.
The burlesque show.
Yeah, the burlesque show. And it was also kind of funny because I'm like, you mean the thing that happened last night? What do you mean he's been super quiet since then? It's like,
been like 2
you
hours.
just like got home, slept, and you've been up for an hour. Like, what do you mean? Like, it's like such a funny way to say it. And Mahdi says it was just too much. And Stevi says, you didn't tell me. And Mahdi replies that it's because Stevi was enjoying it, but he wasn't. So I guess like he didn't want to ruin her vibe. I mean, you like angrily leaving in the middle of it is definitely ruining the vibe. But
also, like, isn't the problem that she is enjoying it?
Well, then he says, you know that I wasn't comfortable, and says you were enjoying it, which kind of I think we're supposed to interpret as like he was basically being like you bisexuals, like you're really enjoying
it was
this
like a
ladies.
test. She was supposed to close her eyes and be like, yuck.
She throws up. Yeah, literally. But then honestly, in the moment when Mahdi said that, like you were enjoying it, it kind of looked like he was teasing her, like, you know, you liked it, like almost in a funny way, or like a it's okay with me way. He wasn't like looking at her like angrily, like you were enjoying it. He was kind of like, you were enjoying it.
Interesting. I didn't think much of that specific sentence, but like the overall vibe I had from this conversation was different, which was just like simultaneously Stevi was kind of acting like she had no ability to put 2 and 2 together about why Mahdi might have been in a weird mood about the burlesque. Like she's like, oh, like what's like,
like what do you mean you didn't wear uncomfortable?
Yeah, and I'm like, I feel like given all the facts you have, like whether he should be acting this way is different. Like let's not get into the should, but like just analysis wise, I feel like she has all the facts to figure out why. That was kind of crazy that she was like, what?
Yeah, it was weird.
Also, she was like, she said like in an interview she didn't, or I don't know if it was an interview or live, maybe it doesn't matter, but she said like she didn't expect the burlesque performers to be so exposed. I'm like, did you Google burlesque?
She did. I'm like, you don't annoy me. Like, you know what burlesque is. Burlesque, but like no one strips.
Burlesque, but then like you've been to your friend Claire's burlesque shows?
A burlesque where no one's naked is just dance. It's just like a dance show.
Wait, dance recital. Remember Claire was talking about dance recital?
So Mahdi says that Saeed is waiting for him in the lobby. So I'm like, oh my God, there's going to be more nonsense. And Stevi asks Mahdi how Mahdi thinks Saeed feels about her.
You don't need to ask. He obviously hates you.
But she can't pick up on a vibe ever. So maybe she really does need to ask. And Mahdi says that Saeed is just super worried about me. And Stevi says she doesn't get what happened because Saeed seemed so excited about the wedding before arriving and then seemingly switched up. And Mahdi says, it was my problem, not you. I just told him too much. If my fiance said that to me the day before the wedding, I'd be like,
what do you mean?
So the more information your friend gets about me, the less he likes me? Like, what are you saying to him? That is so concerning. And Stevi, asks what he told him. And Mahdi says that he told him about the painting situation. And Stevi puts together that Saeed seeing Claire made things awkward because that's who she painted naked. And she says, you guys have made up this whole scenario of who I am. Cringe. I've never heard her talk like that. That was so funny.
I didn't hear her say cringe.
Yeah, she said cringe in the moment. Not even like
in catch that.
Yeah, not even like in an interview later. She literally said that to his face. Mahdi says that he just wanted someone he can be super honest with without feeling judged, meaning he doesn't feel that way with Stevi.
Famously a great thing to 1 day before your wedding.
I can't. And Stevi says that's not fair because she has been very honest and he said things that hurt her feelings. And now he's not being honest with her because of being afraid of being judged. And Mahdi says it's because he doesn't want to make her mad. And Stevi asks how they're supposed to get married if he can't tell her things.
You know what? I'm wondering now also.
Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing. I just like don't know who to believe here. Does it matter?
I don't really think it matters. I think it's just like they're not a good match. Like they don't feel safe with each other. They don't feel like they can be honest with each other. Like I'm just like, okay, so like don't get married.
And then Mahdi in an interview says, tomorrow is our wedding. I think I really regret rushing everything.
What?
What the hell? He says that everyone told him 90 days isn't long enough to get to know somebody. His parents, Saeed, even the officer at the US Embassy said that.
And keep in mind, it's been actually 30 days.
The fact that he's coming into the US and knowing that so many people are like, hey, I think this is a bad idea. Like, you literally don't know this woman. He's like, let's make this even shorter. This is crazy. It really does make you question his motivations for things.
I know.
In the next part of their section, Mahdi goes to the street and meets up with Saeed. And Saeed says that he's been in the US 10 years and last night was crazy to him. And it might have been crazy, but he very clearly enjoyed it.
I was going to say, the lady doth protest too much.
Yeah. So Mahdi tells Saeed that coming to the US, he knew he's not a narrow-minded person. So he can adjust to a lot, but last night he realized there are some things that he just won't be okay with for a long time at least, which I think is fair enough. Like, yeah, I mean, as much as I might not understand why that would be like, you know, the things that are a deal breaker for him are a deal breaker for him. It's like, yeah, he's coming from a super different context and that's fine. I do think it's weird that Stevi said that they had a conversation saying, oh, if it's too much for you, like the burlesque, you can tell me and we can leave, no problem. And then he avoided that and just left on his own and kind of made a scene and like made her feel uncomfortable.
I don't know if you know this like concept of like, they talk about in like therapy a lot of like boundaries being something like not you saying what other people can and can't do, but it's like you saying like what your response is going to be. So it's not like you can't do XYZ. It's like, if you do XYZ, I'm going to not attend or I'm going to leave or I'm going to whatever. Like, so it's not saying like you can't cheat on me, but it's like, if you cheat on me, I will end the relationship.
That's so simple, but
it's
that makes
simple,
a lot of
but
sense.
It's just because it's like about what's in your control and like
which is truly all you have control over.
And like the way it was explained to me is like you can have a boundary, like no one's allowed to like hit you, and then like a crazy person at the grocery store could just like hit you in the face. And it's like you can't control that, but you can be like, I leave situations if that happens, or you know what I mean? So I do think it's interesting. He's like sort of like setting a boundary almost of like she can't be bi, but he's like not acting on it from like what he could say is like, if you're bi, I'll leave. Like again, I don't support that being the deal breaker, but then if that is really your thing, then like fucking act on it.
Also, honestly, him doing that would be kind to her in the long run, because if she is bisexual, why the fuck would she want to be with a biphobic guy?
I know,
like,
just like the repeated like, I'm gonna give you one more chance. It's like, what's the point? Like,
yeah, who is this for, honestly?
But that's just like not effective. Like you've basically shown her like, if she can't convince you that she's not bi, you're just still gonna stick around
and hold that over
and
her.
that's like just like kind of the worst combination.
I know.
Of factors.
It's just I can see the resentment growing, and it's literally only been 30 days. It's crazy. I've never seen a couple speed run resentment this quickly.
They fucking hate each other.
They hate each other. It's bizarre.
Oh, then Mahdi says some shit about how like, oh, but like we don't really have time to talk about this before the wedding. Just Saeed. He's like, so we'll just fix it after we get married.
And Saeed is like, bro, what? He's like, that makes no sense. And Saeed brings up the bisexuality topic and asks if it's resolved or is it still open-ended. And Mahdi says that if he asks now, Stevi will just bring up that she's told him multiple times that he's not respecting her by bringing it up more, I guess. So he's just trying to respect her by not bringing it up.
Except to everybody else.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, so that's just not true. And also, that's not respect. Like, what are we talking? You're using the wrong description here. Saeed asks if Mahdi wants to live with someone he can't be honest with the rest of his life. They don't seem to be on the same page. You know what, Saeed? A lot of the time he's been quite a shit stir, and I have to say, you know what? Because he's not drunk right now, I assume. He has his head on straight, and he's like, wait a minute. You guys make no sense as a couple. Like, what's going on? And Mahdi says he's a person who will sacrifice himself for love. What the fuck does that mean? And now we get a flashback montage of Stevi's like bisexual vibes, like every conversation they've had about it and like the painting and everything. And Mahdi says that he needs to talk to Stevi before the wedding. And I'm like,
AKA like you have 5 hours.
I'm like, Mama, it's tomorrow. What are you talking about? You need to talk to her. Now it's like the next part of their section. And Stevi and Mahdi together arrive at the Ross Manor in downtown Hattiesburg to stay the night before the wedding. Very historical. Honestly, Mahdi loves it. He's like, oh my God, it's like so cool in here. It's very American, to be fair, like the vibe of it. So he's really into it. And they stay in the peacock room, which is kind of cool. There's like a taxidermied peacock, but it was very beautiful. And they get into bed together, and Stevie says she noticed that Mahdi hasn't been talking as much since and has been reserved. I know we keep saying it, but like the night before your wedding, having this conversation is like really genuinely giving me hives. I cannot believe this. I imagine picking a fight the night before your wedding.
And like a core fight too.
I don't even want to call it picking a fight because it's like a fair thing to like have a conversation about. But why is it happening right now? Like I'm just like, this is bizarre. And Mahdi agrees and says that before he arrived in the US, when they were just talking on the phone, there was never a time that Stevie got super mad at
Yeah,
him.
because you weren't in a real relationship.
I said, yeah, because you didn't know each other well. What? It's the easiest thing in the world to have a good relationship with someone that you're not with every day. That's so easy. What are we talking about? And then Stevie says that she's just not walking around and trying to get mad at Maddie. And he says that's how he feels. And she apologizes and asks if there's anything else that he needs to say. And I'm like, yeah, probably because you guys didn't say anything yet. Like, what is this conversation? You barely said any. Yeah, I think there's a lot more that you guys need to talk about, actually. I feel that Stevie is just wanting things to, well, obviously she's very conflict averse and in a lot of denial about like what their connection truly is. So I understand that, but it really is like every time they have a conflict, she's just looking to wrap it up as quickly as possible. She's kind of Mark vibes in that way. She's just like, yeah, whatever. Like she just wants to say whatever, we'll get the conversation to end. Just like, but she's like, okay, what else do you need to say so that we can wrap it up? And Mahdi says that he would love Stevie no matter what, but asks if she's bisexual. So why is this the third time he's asked her explicitly and she's said no? What is the point of this? I'm like, truly, isn't the definition of insanity doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result? What is he looking for?
He's looking for her to say yes so he can break up with her.
Is he? Because I really get the vibe that he's using her to get a green card. Like, what? I don't understand his motivation.
I don't either. I really don't. But I do feel like he wants her to say yes so he can like rest easy with having the truth.
I guess, honestly, the two of them are so hard to understand. And I don't get any of this. He asks her if she's bisexual and she says, are you serious?
I'm too tired. I'm too tired to be bisexual.
How can I be bisexual? I'm literally tired. And he says he's sorry and this is the last time he'll ask. I don't believe that. But Stevie cries and she's like, I'm too tired to have this conversation. And he says, I know it wasn't a good moment to ask those questions, but we don't have any more time. And I mean, yeah, that's true. But it's just literally all your fault. Like, I don't know. I'm just like,
artificial. It's like, why don't you get more time? I know.
you could actually push back the wedding. I mean, the night before is not ideal, but like you could. And Mahdi in an interview says, I have sacrificed a lot. My family, my job, my life, everything I had in Iran, and it's not worth it. I feel like I made a mistake coming here, but it's too late.
Yikes. Day before the wedding. Yikes.
And that's the end of their section. I'm like, and I know they're going to get married, but I'm like, what the fuck? How do you move on from that? Also, at the very least, I'm like imagining if they are still together, I'm imagining Stevie like watching that and be like, what the fuck?
They're saying things that like can't even be like interpreted differently. It's like
so just what it is.
You know that thing from The Office where Michael's like listing reasons? I think it's like the episode with like where the woman go to the mall with Michael or whatever. And he's talking about like all the pros and cons of the relationship with Jan. And he's like, well, I'm not happy when I'm with her. And they're like, wait, what was that one? And he's like, whatever. But like, it's kind of like that. It's like, well, damn, like you don't like each other. Like
anything good about the relationship can't make up for that fact. I do feel like these are the type of people that say the same thing. Like, oh yeah, everything's so good except I hate spending time with him. It's like,
when we were on separate continents and only communicated like rarely, it was great.
It was so awesome back then when we didn't have to spend time with each other.
But the next time I see them on my screen, they better fucking be like, it better be the wedding. Like if they get married, like I cannot have like another segment where it's like them sleeping before the wedding. You know what I mean? Like just like the fact that it's been like 3 days before, 2 days before, 1 day before, 6 hours before, like you
literally
cannot add any more filler. Like
I feel like their whole thing the past like 5 episodes has been less than 24 hours. Like it's insane how little time has passed and how little has happened.
It's gonna just be like footage of the people working at the whatever manor, like making the breakfast. Like I don't care. Like we're back with the throuple and specifically just Matt and Amani. And like
Matt is on the bed shirtless in their hotel room. And I'm like, okay, you saw the cameras coming in. Can't you just throw a shirt on? It's just like disgusting. But he also has, which we've talked about before, he has these ginormous baby footprints on his, like in the middle of his chest, like in between his nipples. It is insane.
It distresses me to no end. Like, it's ugly. It's weird. I hate it. So they're like, the two of them are reflecting on their, you know, meeting with Ray and Brenda last night.
Brenda.
And they're like reflecting on like how Ray knows more about Ani than they do when Ray only dated her for like 6 months.
Like, again, like you were just saying, this feels like the, and I don't like her when I'm with her. It's like, well, okay, maybe that's a sign that we can wrap this one
we
up.
don't even know her. And like Amani again is concerned about how the marriage, the fact that Ani is like maybe still married, how that is going to affect the K1 visa. Spoiler, if she's still married, it's going to affect it completely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Famously.
And Matt asks Amani if she just wants to like give up and go home. And Amani says she's close.
Just do it, honestly. Release all of us.
I know. And then Amani's like, I wonder if this thing could even be saved. And it's like, probably not. So they're always doing this thing where they're like almost going to like make a statement or like take a stand. And they're like, we love fucking her too much.
Yeah, literally. Their only connection.
And they basically like, they're just discussing amongst themselves like what's going to happen. And they basically like, they don't want this to be lost in translation. Again, I'm like, it is. But they call Ani and she says she's ready to talk to them. And she says she's going to bring a friend to translate. Again, like I know I've said this, but the concept of having a fight with your partner or partners and like needing to bring a translator, like you've never had a translator before. Like I really want to know the deepest conversation these people have ever had. If like her needing to explain why she goes by a different name requires a translator. And so Ani like pulls up with this guy, her friend.
Who is the translator? And I'm like, okay, great. Like I was really hoping that they get a translator who was
Like
not
an actual
biased.
translator, just her friend.
And I'm like, he could be lying at any point. I mean, spoiler, but it would seem to be pretty accurate translation. Like from the limited amount of Spanish that I know, it seems quite accurate to what he was saying.
I don't know why this really pissed me off. Ani's like goes through the trouble of bringing a translator, but then she like decides she's gonna like try in English anyway.
I know.
She goes
so weird.
Quote, Ray, he tells many things liars.
I'm just switch.
I'm like, girl, it's not working. Like, and I'm not saying it to be shady, but like
you have the translator.
Like just like let's focus on actually communicating. And so basically through the translator, she's able to share that she didn't share her real name because she didn't think it was important at the beginning. But then like also she shares that she was an abuse victim in her marriage and needed to get a restraining order. And I guess like in Mexico, it's hard to get a divorce if like only one party wants to.
Which I was wondering if it was something like that because that's definitely a thing in many countries.
And then she says she like part of the reason she goes by a different name is because she like couldn't do anything under her name if she was still married.
Didn't make sense to me.
Didn't make sense to me either because she implies like she couldn't do legal stuff, so she like just used a different name. And I'm like,
I don't think that's how
it works either. But
she's a victim of abuse. I don't want to be poking holes in her.
Like judging her. No, I don't. But
I just don't understand the logistics of it, so I am having a hard time.
It's just
conceptualizing
thing that like sometimes people do where they'll like say something with conviction or something that's like a little bit. It's almost like you can't push back against because like you're not going to argue with someone's account of being abused, obviously.
Yeah.
But it does kind of like you're left with questions and you're kind of like, wait, what was actually the link between this and that? Like,
yes,
the links aren't really totally being explained to me.
And maybe there's a simple explanation, but I was not understanding.
I didn't know, and it wasn't explained well.
No, even with the translator. Matt and Amani, from what we saw, didn't ask clarifying questions. I had a lot.
Yeah, they're just sitting there like, and then this is just a pet peeve, but Amani kept talking about how Ani's being vulnerable, and she kept being like, she's so vulnerable.
It was a little bit strange because she's not from Memphis. It was a really weird departure from her regular accent. It was hard to ignore.
And then Ani said something that was accidentally so funny. She's talking about Ray and how she was like kind of upset that they brought Ray into it and like that they were seemingly trusting Ray more than trusting Ani. And she was like, this is a 3-person relationship, not a 4-person relationship.
It felt so funny to draw that line. Yeah, I'm like, it's already too many. I mean, it's really quite funny to be like, yeah, 4 people would be totally different.
And then Amani asks Ani to promise that she'll stay this open and vulnerable.
Yeah.
Then again, they kind of like loop back to this thing of that feel good again. They're happy to meet Ani's family, but Amani is still worried if Ani will present her as her girlfriend to the family.
I could not believe, because for me, for so long, it's been so clear that this is dead in the water. Like this relationship that I'm like, oh my God, you still think you're meeting the family? I was like, oh, okay.
I think it's just about their own egos. Like I can't think of any other reason. But anyway, so that was the end. It was actually like a super short segment with them.
Obviously, I'm going to believe Ani. Like, I believe victims of abuse. I'm sure that that is what happened with her ex-husband, which is obviously awful, but it doesn't really give me a good explanation for the things that they were upset about.
No.
It just doesn't. I mean, the name thing I understand. I don't fully understand the logistics of it, but okay, I believe
I'm
it.
still not understanding, like, you've been with these people for, what, like, over a year. You're openly speaking about marriage, and you don't feel comfortable sharing with them. Like, I'm confused. I am not saying anyone is forced to disclose abuse, but I would think if you're gonna marry someone, you should be close enough that you would be comfortable disclosing that. And so the fact that she's not been is, like, not boding well for the depth, again, of the relationship.
Well, I think that the nail in the coffin proving that is that Ray knew. She told Ray. They dated less than a year.
Did Ray know about the abuse? The way he was, like, outing her marriage, I feel like it would be weird if he, like, knew there was, like, abuse involved.
It's a good question. But like, I guess what I'm saying is like, he knew that that was like her legal name was different from what she goes by. And he also knew that she was married. And I wouldn't be surprised if he knew about that.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, that doesn't really change anything in my opinion.
Yeah.
At least it doesn't change all of the other bad stuff. So love them as always. I am really curious to see if what the fuck is happening next time.
I'm curious also, like, what their sort of resolution will be on this season. Like, what would a happy ending look like for them? Like, I know we're not getting a happy ending because, like, the relationship.
What would that be?
But what would, like, because for the others, it's, like, obviously getting married. And, like, with them, I just wonder, like, what the, like, goal is.
I guess like a divorce.
That doesn't happen that quickly. I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious. You know what? Maybe we're expecting too much of the show and like it's absolutely not going to wrap up. Like it just like kind of ends on like a random
It probably will.
scene.
I know,
Yeah.
it probably will.
We have Shawn and Alliiya now, which is unfortunate and genuinely at this point becoming extremely painful for me to watch because it's always uncomfortable and upsetting. But I'm just reminded, oh my God, it's episode 15 and they're still dragging this out and he's still being such a piece of shit to her. And it's like honestly like taxing for me to cover them, but I think interesting. So we start in the living room at Shawn's house, and Alliiya is like putting on this like hikey doesn't matter, but it's just like a weird thing that's happening in the scene. She puts on like medical sunglasses, whatever you call them, like tinted glasses.
Like cataract surgery glasses.
Yes. And starts lasering her leg with a little device that Shawn brought her.
Honestly, God bless her. I mean, doing your own laser, good for you.
I know. Shawn comes in and says she looks like a rock star with her sunglasses on. And that's the last night's thing that he says to her.
I'm surprised he didn't say some fucked up shit.
Yeah. Well, he's about to, don't worry.
Yeah.
And Shawn in an interview says that with everything going on and how everything between them seems too uncertain and always changing, he decided he needs to have a prenup signed before marriage. Again, oh my God, everyone's getting a prenup.
Producers, I know.
Low-key though, that's absolutely the right call for this relationship because he's old as fuck. But
honestly, what I'm annoyed about is like the world building of it all. Like, why is like all of a sudden the timing is like every single person's like, shall I get a prenuptial agreement?
It's like 5 days before the wedding, and you're like, okay. And Shawn in the moment tells Alliiya to take a look at this and kind of slides the prenup toward her. And he explains what it is. He says that he needs Alliiya to sign this so that they can move forward with the wedding because it's his biggest hang up. And I'm like, that's not your biggest hang up, first of all.
What I do feel weird about, I think, in this show is like sliding a pre-written prenup over to someone. Like that your lawyer wrote. You know what I mean? Like, I totally am. I mean, we are openly pro prenup, but I feel like the terms should be discussed together. I feel like it's really weird to be like, you need to sign this. It's giving like NDA or like, you know what I mean? Like that I don't love.
Yeah, it's not giving equal for sure. And I'm also so curious. Like, I'm telling you, like, maybe I'm going to become a lawyer every time. I'm like so fascinated with like the law side of things. I want to know what the stipulations or whatever you call it are of this contract. Like, I'm so curious what are in Shawn's prenup. It's probably like if we divorce, I keep all the Barbra Streisand memorabilia. And Alliiya immediately looks really hurt and disappointed. And Shawn says that he just wants to be practical. He's not trying to put a damper on the wedding or feeling like they aren't going to last.
Never mind. She's like holding the laser in her hand. Yeah. Like she's like doing her laser removal actively.
He just like springs this on her. And Alliiya says, quote, it's like a contract. And I don't want to be mean, but yeah. And that's what marriage is too. Does she not know that? I have to say, I have so much empathy and affection for Alliiya. I really like her. I feel really bad for her. That said, I believe you've mentioned this way up top of this at the beginning of the season, but Alliiya really does show her age.
She's very naive,
especially when it comes to love. And I think that Shawn is kind of the spawn of the devil. I think he's like an honestly reprehensible human being and one of the worst people I've seen on reality TV. Not to overstate it. I really, really dislike him a lot. That said, I do agree with him that like you should have a prenup.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's just, I guess, Alliiya's kind of fairy tale way of looking at this is sweet, but it's not how you should be entering a marriage. A marriage is a legal contract.
Totally. It's, there's like a kind of an ickiness for me about the disconnect between like their understanding of things, their perspectives, their power dynamic. I mean, there's like such an ocean between them on every topic, and this is just like an extension of that. Like, I don't think a prenup is bad. I think a prenup is good. We've discussed this, but like, don't like spring it on someone. And like, also like, if you know she has this like super fairy tale romantic view, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying she should be babied, but I feel like you have this partner who's like, I'm gonna get married and it's my fairy tale, and you're like, here's this contract. Like,
Yeah.
he's not also approaching it with gentleness, so it's just like a weird vibe.
And it's also gross to me to be, especially as the American, coming to the non-American with a prenup, with them maybe not understanding what that even is. I don't know how much of an American thing it is. Like, I don't know if they do it in Brazil, or it's just almost like legally, it makes me like uncomfortable just signing contracts that you don't fully understand what they are
Totally.
in a foreign
Also,
country.
there's like a language difference. Like, those legal words are really specific. If you
Yeah.
think one of the words is a synonym, it can totally change. Like may versus must. You know what I mean?
It's like reading Shakespeare. Like, you
Totally.
think you're understanding, and you're like, oh, it actually meant a completely different thing.
Totally.
Yeah, legalese. Anyway, it's just showing obviously that they're not compatible, and they're at extremely different stages of their life too.
Also, like, I've hinted at this, but like Shawn like effectively says like he needs a prenup because he's worried Alliiya's gonna like transition too far.
Like, it's just
Like,
disgusting.
it keeps being like, if the changes become too much. Gross.
Gross. I mean, he's just, everything about him is disgusting. Okay, this pissed me off. This really activated me. Shawn says to Alliiya, quote, "At the end of the day, I think you realize I've been pretty supportive through you and all your changes and what we've been through and the transitioning and all. And so this is just something I feel like I need to protect myself in case the changes get too much or things get too far." It's just disgusting.
Honestly, it's giving Sarper. Prenup clause if your body changes.
Yeah. Like,
Don't get married.
that's not what love is.
So this is a spoiler for a long gone 90 Day Fiancé season. But there's one couple, George and Anfisa, who had this one moment in season 4. They were like a very I think season 4. They were a very classic couple of like beautiful, I don't want to get the country wrong, but she's like from a Slavic country. Beautiful woman. The man, like, not that good looking, but like seemingly has money and like has pretty explicitly told her, like, if you come to America, like, I'll buy you this, this, and this. So she comes to the US with an understanding of the contract that is she's gonna have access to all this money. And it turns out he like pretty severely overinflated his whatever. But there's one scene where they're talking and he goes, like, I'm worried you only love me for my money. Like, would you love me if I didn't have any money? And she goes, like, without missing a beat, would you love me if I was fat and ugly? It's like, it is a contract. You know what I mean? It bothers me so much that Shawn, like, to in any way imply Alliiya is like after his money, or like when like he's after her youth and beauty.
Right. Both are true, probably. And if it's equal, it's equal. You don't get to throw the other one in their face.
Yeah. So it's like, I almost wish he could just openly be like, I'm with you for your looks. And if you change your looks too much, that's going to affect, like, you know what I mean? Like, in a way, obviously it's a fucked up thing to say. Like, Sarper said that and we hated it. But I think the thing that bothers me, especially with Shawn and Alliiya, is like, it's so obvious the relationship is transactional. It's so obvious that Shawn does want Alliiya. I mean, in large part because of her youth. And I just feel like to act like he's also not like getting something specific out of the relationship.
Yes, she's the only one getting his generosity and whatever.
That doesn't sit right with me. Like, I really just hate when the contracts aren't clear. If you're both in it and you're saying like, you get this, I get this, trade deal, great. So just like the thought of him being like, I need to protect myself. And it's like, she needs to protect herself.
Yeah,
like, what do you...
She's way more vulnerable.
I know.
With or without a prenup. And just like everything, like that quote, he's just trying to make her feel like shit all the time. Like, she's taking things from him and he's so generous and all this stuff. It's just like disgusting. It's not healthy. And Alliiya looks like really crestfallen. She was already looking upset and she is like almost crying. She's tearing up. And in an interview, she brings up what we saw in the last episode, that at the beach, Shawn was talking about Alliiya's possible surgeries and having negative thoughts about what would change as a result. And now he's giving her a prenup. And she says, just one more thing that shows me Shawn continues feeling insecure about the future.
Which, by the way, I think that's a generous read on the situation.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I guess that's one way of saying it. And again, tearing up in the moment, Alliiya asks Shawn if he thinks that she just wants to take all his things and steal all his money. And he says no, but even people with the best intentions can have a marriage go bad. It's like, yeah, that's true, but he's being so disingenuous that he's doing this out of anything other than greed.
Also, yeah, that's true. And I would believe you more if you weren't like, I'm getting this prenup so that if you transition, I can leave you.
Right.
Like,
the condition can't be about your partner's body.
no, I completely understand this thing of like shit happens, life happens, people grow apart, situations pull people apart,
But
whatever.
that's like emotionally and mentally grew apart. It's not, oh my God, you gained weight, or oh my God, you decided to get a plastic surgery I don't like. That I already had planned to do. Like, that's the thing, is he already knows that's her intention, or at least it's a very likely one. So it's like, what you're trying to do is force her to not do something that would make her happy. And that's the problem.
There's also like a huge difference. I feel like when people talk about like, oh, you shouldn't have a prenup because it's planning for a breakup. I feel like, at least from my perspective, getting a prenup, it's not planning for a breakup, but it's like acknowledging like things can happen. But that doesn't mean like you expect a certain thing to happen. And I think it's such a different thing to be like, I'm getting a prenup because there's this thing that's like directly in my headlights coming up that's gonna break us up. I'm like, so then don't get married. Like, it's not about like protecting you from like an event that's like literally gonna happen.
Yes.
It's like more for like the crazy shit you couldn't expect. So it just seems so weird to me to be like, I don't know. Like, I really, really can't relate to anything about this freak. But
do you know why?
Why what?
Why you can't relate to it?
Because I'm not a horrible piece of shit.
Yes, because you're a nice person and he's an evil demon. It's also like in this conversation, it's kind of a small thing, but I was just noticing that Shawn is sitting so far away from Alliiya. And like he's the second one who came into the room. Like, he's sitting as far away from Alliiya as we are from each other right now, but we're sitting this far just because we're recording a podcast and we have to be far away for mic purposes. Like, they're not touching, they're not like having an intimate, like hard conversation. Like, he doesn't like her at all. He doesn't even want to touch her.
Okay, question for you. Obviously, her transition has thrown a wrench in his ability to like use this transactional relationship in the exact way he wants to. Yes. But he had not told people about Alliiya even before she transitioned.
Yes. He loves to skirt over that.
But this is my question. Is his obsession with youth, does it exist in a vacuum, or is it about the people around him? Because I can't get a read on that, because part of me is like, if it's just about that, like, he's so into her behind closed doors, okay, we're not seeing that. When they're one-on-one, we're not seeing the vibes, which makes you think, okay, he wants like a trophy, but then he's not showing her off.
Yeah.
And again, it would be different if he was like, pre-transition, I showed her off and now I'm not, would be fucked up. But at least like, I feel like I could follow the thought process more. But I'm like, what's the point? Because it's not like you're like all over her in private, but you're not telling people about her. What is the actual value of having like a partner who you're with sort of exclusively for her youth
and like sex?
Yeah, if you're not like acting or capitalizing on it.
It's true. It's very confusing. You really can't pin it down because none of it is logical in a way that a moral human like you would follow.
Yeah.
I really hate him. I really hate him.
Can you guys tell?
So then Alliiya in an interview says, he knows me and he knows why I'm with him. I made all this big move to be here and to finally be by his side and get married because I love him. But I was not expecting a prenup. This made me sad for multiple reasons. Number one, quote, he knows me and knows why I'm with him.
No, he doesn't know any of that stuff.
Oh, yeah, because Alliiya doesn't know why Shawn is with her. That's what made me sad.
Yeah.
It's like painfully clear to us that he does not really love or care for her even. And he's just with her for her like youth, body, sex, whatever. And like, that's it. Number one, like you said, I don't think he really gets why she's with him. And I think that the sadder thing is she doesn't understand why he's with her. And so it's just like really uncomfortable because she's not seeing how transactional it is. And it's sad. And then number two, she says, I was not expecting a prenup. And again, I really just think this shows her naivety and like her age. And it just highlights that he's so much older than her and like they're just not compatible. Like they just like think different ways about the world. And I just am also surprised that, of course, she's allowed to not want to get a prenup, but I'm surprised that she didn't expect it at all. Again, her naivety. And Shawn, back in the moment, says that there are things in the prenup that benefit Alliiya too. It's not just about him, and he thinks that it's written fairly. And who knows if that's true, but I mean, what he's saying here is like potentially true. Mm-hmm. It can benefit her as well. And he says it's important to him and it needs to happen. So an ultimatum, essentially.
1 week before the wedding, by the way. And it's like a deal breaker that you just came up with.
Honestly, I think he was looking for a way to finally get out of this relationship, and he came up with this because I think he knows she's not going to sign it.
I do wonder.
And Alliiya kind of leaves the conversation and goes to the bedroom to be alone. And he doesn't seem to give a shit. Like, she's probably crying in there. He didn't care, honestly. So now we cut to the second part of their section, and it says 2 days to wed.
Heart attack.
It's just Stevi and Mahdi territory. I was like, what are we doing 2 days before the wedding? This is all going down. So they're heading to Sonoma County for the wedding. That's where they'll do it. And Alliiya is packing and tells the camera that she had a Portuguese-speaking lawyer look over and explain to her what the prenup entails.
Thank God.
Thank God. But she says she still needs to think about it herself, even knowing that. And she understands Shawn wanting to protect himself, but him thinking about divorce is not good. I mean, again, I just think this is an image.
It makes me sad because, like, she has a lot of reasons to be annoyed with the situation, but this whole, like, prenup is bad because it, like, that I don't love. Also, sorry, you're surprised he's thinking about divorce? He's been telling you all the time he's not going to stay with you if you transition any more. I mean, to use his language, you know what I mean? Like, yes. So I'm like, okay, so.
This genuinely catching her off guard. I was like, it just shows, like, a level of immaturity and, like, denial about the situation she was really in that I'm like, this makes me, and it just is making me think, oh, she wouldn't be able to be in a transactional relationship, which is okay. But I'm like, oh.
You're in one though, so oops.
I know, and it's like crazy to me that she doesn't realize it. And she says that getting married is a dream for her, and that's what it should be about. And it's just like sad. I don't know. And they arrive in Sonoma. Shawn's mom, Jean, greets them, and like randomly, it's the 4th of July.
I know. I thought she was like doing a bit. She was wearing this like little American flag, like bubble headband, yeah. And I thought she was like being wacky. Yeah. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, it's also the 4th of July."
It was so random. I'm like, we don't need this 4th of July bit. Like, it doesn't actually matter. But whatever. She's so whimsical and fun, Jean. And Shawn says to his mom, quote, "Seems like we might only be having a party because some things haven't happened to make it more than a party." He kills me with his like passive aggressive fucking language of like, well, someone didn't do the thing that needs to happen and she's the reason that everything's fucked up. And it's just like, okay, you literally sprung this on her. First of all, I mean, whatever, we've already been over it, but like, he just is like literally the worst communicator on the show. I think he's even worse than a mini somehow. It's insane because he does this shit sober. You know what I mean?
I know.
And Alliiya tells Jean about the prenup and says that she's still thinking it over. And Jean, like, looks really confused.
This is where I started to sour on Jean a little bit because I felt like I thought Jean's response to Alliiya not signing was not super empathetic. Like, I understand if she's like, oh, that's unfortunate or whatever, but she was kind of like, what? Why haven't you signed it? Like,
yeah.
No.
I guess I would look at my son and be like, when did you tell her about this?
I was just like, I was reminded that like she is Shawn's mom.
And not to say like Shawn being an asshole is his mom's fault. I'm really over people just blaming the mother, but I'm like, well, I mean, maybe she's not as great as she seems because, you know, your parents do affect you. And Jean asks what happens if Alliiya decides to not sign it. And Alliiya says that they'll have a party, but it will just be a party. And then
she'll get deported.
And then she'll get deported and leave the US. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome.
I was like, why have the party?
I know at that point, this is going to be like the weirdest vibe ever. And I know, okay, my note says, I don't think she says this, but I just said Jean hates this idea.
Yeah, she's like, what?
She's like, what do you mean? I mean, honestly, Jean is not having like the perfect reaction to what Alliiya said, but like, I kind of get her. I think she was really caught off guard too. She was kind of like, what?
I was frankly surprised by Alliiya being so directive, like, well, then I guess I'll leave the country and get deported. Like,
yeah, she kind of seemed like she had her mind made up, to be honest.
Also, like, Alliiya has been someone who's so like whimsical and romantic. Mm-hmm. You almost forget that like she is aware of like legal frameworks and stuff like that because like she's all about like the romance. So for her to be like, I guess I'll get deported. I was like, oh, you do know, like,
or maybe she's like resentful of Shawn because it's like, well, I guess I'll get deported because you're like forcing me
But
to.
either way, the fact that she was like actually like in tune with like the consequences, like I'm not saying she's stupid, but just she said such a romanticized view. Like I almost feel like I was almost expecting her to be like, well, we'll just go back to the embassy and we'll explain that we're really truly in love and we need extra time. Like, you know what I mean? Like I almost thought she'd like say some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
So the fact that she was like actually aware of the like real consequences.
But she did talk to the lawyer, to be fair.
And maybe he scared her. Makes me wonder
well,
too.
He probably just was like,
said.
well, this is what would happen.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay. And Jean asks Alliiya if she wants to go back to Brazil. And Alliiya says no, but Shawn just threw this at her. So she's taking her time to decide. So period. I mean, I think Alliiya's pissed.
I agree.
But she's such a sweetie. Like, you don't really see it that clearly. Alliiya goes to her room in Jean's house. And Jean is just with Shawn now. And she asks him what he thinks. And like, what does he think about if Alliiya really doesn't sign the prenup? And Shawn asks his mom if he's being too cautious with the prenup. And Jean says no.
Jean says, quote, I was so excited about this marriage and now I'm not feeling that way any longer. Again, these people say these damning things where I'm like, how are you going to walk that back?
And genuinely, I cannot think of a way that could have been cut in a certain way. You know, like a lot of the time that like
I was, it was she really said the whole, it was like a video of her saying it.
And you're like, well, I mean, what's there to say about that?
And then this I thought was super interesting. There was a zoom in to a wedding cake topper. This pissed me off. It was that like classic boomer humor one of the bride dragging the groom.
No. Are you serious? I didn't see
I'm
this.
dead serious. I mean, I hate those in any relationship, but I'm like, especially in this one, I'm like, hey, shut the fuck up.
Also, who bought that?
Who bought that? I was hoping it was just some piece of like kitschy, just like ephemera, just like from Jean's hoarder house.
No, because that's pissing me off. Who bought that?
I know.
Whoever bought it is an enemy. It's probably Shawn or his mom. Then we hate Jean if she bought that. If Jean bought that, I hate her. I'm not kidding. Like I don't get that vibe from her. Like it's so random.
But I was just surprised how quickly she turned. Like it made me think like, is she also like sort of stupid or like
her loyalty is to her son. She's a boy mom.
But also like to be so black and white, to be like, I like Alliiya because she's fun and cute. And then it's like, I'm not excited for the wedding anymore. Like with no kind of nuance or like.
Who knows though, to be fair in that quote, it could have been like, I'm not excited for the wedding more. This is bad. And I just really am feeling for Alliiya.
It's like they told her there's no open bar.
Yes.
Was excited. Now I'm not.
Honestly, you should be real for that. No, I think there's going to be an open bar.
Better be. Greg and Joan's part starts with Greg in the garage telling the camera that he wants to surprise Joan with a costume.
Greg was getting back to his goofy side, and I was really enjoying it.
Okay, but I need to say something. So the costume, it turns out it's like one of these inflatable costumes. It's a cow costume, and he reveals in an interview that he did pay the dowry, which is like, 15 cows. I just have to say something. I don't think those inflatable costumes are funny. Every time I see a video that's like, funny airport pickup, and it's like someone's dressed as like a dinosaur, I'm like, okay. Like, and I'm not saying this is like I'm better than other people. I do feel that way, but not because of this per se. I'm just saying like it's like doesn't do like whatever receptors in the brain is supposed to be lighting up. They're not lighting up for me.
I think for me, the reason I kind of enjoyed it was just because this was such a downer episode for the men on the season. That I was like, that's a good one.
It's a cow costume.
And also it's like he paid the dowry. You know, I was like, thank God.
No,
like,
but you know what? I was thinking, Greg, why'd you waste your money on this fucking cow costume?
True. I'm like, save that up to get your own apartment. We sound like boomers that were like, well, if you stopped getting a coffee every day, you could buy a house.
So he basically reveals like, back to the dowry topic, because his parents are paying for the wedding, he can afford the dowry. Life hack.
Yeah.
Have someone give you money and then you can afford stuff.
That's the thing is it's like, look, I wish them the best. I can tell they're going to get married. I think that they do have a good relationship in many ways. I don't think they're bad people. I don't think that they are incompatible at all.
No.
That said, I just still do worry about the circumstances because I haven't really seen proof that Greg is like an actual changed man, like in his habits.
I know. There's a small thing of like the way he was describing, like, yeah, I was able to pay for the dowry. And it's like, not like he said, you know, I saved up the first couple paychecks. It was like, because my parents paid for something. I'm like,
that doesn't change anything.
It's like a financial tip.
You know, and it's okay. Like your parents paying for your wedding is amazing. Yeah. But
it was just the framing of it. It wasn't like, I'm so happy my parents are paying because now I can. It was kind of like, yeah, I did manage to save up. P.S. It's because I got money for free, you know?
He just gives me the vibe of someone who like, he wants to move out, but then if he ever made extra money that month, he'd be like, oh my God, score more money for beer. And you're like, no, it's money to put in savings.
I know. So he like goes into the house where Jonah's sitting and he asks her to put on a blindfold. And then he like gets the cow costume on and like they play like sex music, kind of
That
like
was
bow
weird.
chicka wow wow.
Why is it sex
with
music?
him in the cow costume? But then like, so at first I'm like, oh, it's ironic. But no, then why is he actually squeezing her ass when he's in the cow costume?
Yeah, he was like goosing her real
It
hard.
was like not just a little, it wasn't even just like a playful slap. It was like there was a lot of like caressing and grabbing and squeezing.
And
I was
she
like,
was like, "Ooh." And he was like, he said something too. He was like, oh wow. Like, and I was like, what the hell?
Turn off screen, turn off show.
I was like, this is some fetish content that I do not want to be a part of.
Again, this is a small pet peeve, but it's just the exposition for me. When the sex music is playing, he like, I paid the dowry. She's happy, but like, why is it also sexual?
But she's also like, oh, good. And he's like, look, baby, I did it. And she's like, she's excited, but I definitely feel a vibe from her where she's like, yeah, why should I be
like if he's like,
complimenting you?
I signed the wedding license. It's like, yeah,
we agreed to do this. But anyway, you know, they're happy. She's also just low affect, so she's a little hard to read.
It's true. Like next part, like again, this is just what pisses me off with the exposition. It's revealed that Laura organized the bachelorette party. Later, they explain who Laura is, and like maybe Laura's the friend we met in episode 1.
I think she was the friend that Greg went to her house and fixed her dishwasher.
Yeah, if we're watching this show live, I mean that's months ago that we met this person. Like,
does the show drop all at once?
No, it's once a week. It's on TV.
Really? The editing is so bad. I just assumed it's because people are binging it.
No, but that's my point. I'm like,
yeah,
we're supposed to remember one side character for like.
It also says 7 days to wed. By the way, it's really getting there for all these couples.
Joan says in an interview that a typical Ugandan bachelorette party would be like your friends take you to a nice restaurant and like eat food and they give you advice. But Laura has something different planned for this bachelorette party. And it's revealed like Laura is Greg's friend, but it's just like revealed in a way that I found sloppy and confusing.
I mean, that's just the show. It should be called Sloppy and Confusing.
Joan says, quote, when you're on Long Island, you have to act like Long Islanders. So I can't wait to see what really happens there.
I love it. When in Rome, baby.
And then Greg asks her in person if they're going to a strip club. He's like kind of joking. And she says, yes. And Greg says, quote, are you going to have schlongs swinging in your face? And Joan says, what are schlongs?
What are schlongs?
It's so cute. And then she revealed in an interview that they're actually going to a female strip club. Like,
the strippers are women.
Yeah, technically, it's a gentleman's club. Like, that's what the... And I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to impose like a straight agenda. Like, but my thought also would have been if there's going to be a stripper element for this like straight bachelorette party, it would be like a Magic Mike vibe.
I've actually never heard of this, of like a straight person going to... Okay.
A lot of my notes here were simply questions. Like, why is this happening? Why is that person? Like, but like then Joan says, quote, it's not written in the Bible that you're not allowed to go to a strip club. I'm like, okay, get it, Joan.
No, she said, so I'm good to go. I'm enjoying my life. She's so cute and fun. Cute. I really like her a lot.
So at this point, it is made clear that like Lucille is also coming to the strip club.
That was a crazy reveal.
And okay, this is a really small personal pet peeve. They're in the like party limo and they start this like chant.
Oh yeah.
I hate when chants have too many syllables. Let's do it together.
Like we said, you gotta have fun before you wed. I was so curious. I was like, okay, is this a Long Island chant?
This is royalty free shit.
Yeah. Boobs, boobs, boobs. They should have sung that. It would have matched the vibe.
Okay, this also confusing to me. We're just like, seeing everyone in the limo. Casual drop that Greg's stepmom is there. Who we've
what? Yes. I did not
know. We never met her. It was like, I forget her name, but it's like Carol, Greg's stepmom. I'm like, hey, can we go back to the fact that Lucille's ex-husband's current wife is just loose in the limo with them?
With Lucille?
With Lucille.
I'd like, so that's who that older lady was?
Yes.
I thought that was Lucille's friend. Well, maybe they are friends. God bless.
Crazy lore drop with no follow-up.
That's an insane thing to not acknowledge.
Like, such a big deal that she's there to me. And like, it's a blink and you'll miss it because it was just in like the Chiron that it said stepmom.
Crazy.
Lucille says she's never been to a strip club before, so she doesn't know what to expect. And then some insane person / like producer plan says, let's play Never Have I Ever. The concept of playing Never Have I Ever in this group of people.
With your mother-in-law.
With your mother-in-law and stepmother-in-law.
Damn. Maybe these girls hate Joan because I'm like, why did you organize this crazy party?
Shitty bachelor party. The first never have ever is never have I ever had sex in public. Greg's stepmom immediately drinks.
Dude.
Because it's like a drinking game version.
Yeah. Well, first Joan says, no, I have never.
I feel like while she's saying that, though, the stepmom is like already drinking.
Yeah.
Like it's like the first thing you see, she's like, oh, that's me. But what I love is she doesn't even do it in a fun way. Like, you know, usually when you're playing such a game, you'll be like, ooh, I
have to.
But she's like dead serious, just like, okay, gotta drink. Like the vibe was so funny.
That is funny.
And still goes, unfortunately, yeah. And then she drinks.
I mean, unfortunately.
I know. Are you good?
You know what? Oh my God. Maybe it was with the same man. Maybe Lucille's ex-husband is super into outdoor sex. That's why they both did it. Wait, that kind of explains the unfortunately. It's like with her ex-husband.
It's true. It's also why stepmom, it would explain her kind of like anonymously sipping. Like you don't want to be like yapping about like your current husband.
Maybe we just solved that kind of weird vibe.
So the party limo pulls up to Lipsticks with an X Gentlemen's Club.
Okay, we're going there on our road trip, by the way.
We actually legally have to go there. Joan makes the funniest face. She's like talking about what she's seeing in the strip club, and she sees like googly eyes going on, like what? Like
yeah. She has great like facial expressions.
Yeah,
She's
really
so
funny.
good at that. She's really quite funny.
And of course, they're seated in the VIP section. I was like, this whole thing is so funny to me. Like the planning of this. Like, I mean, look, I think I'm pretty good at planning events. I would never have come up with this concept. So it's like props to Laura for being more creative than I'm capable of. Like the thought of like going with like all of your like, and I really want to clarify the guest list here is what you would expect for a bridal shower. These are the guests you would expect to come to like a bridal tea, you know, a bridal shower, and they're bringing you like maybe the most risque thing is they bring you like a nightgown that has like a little bit of lace. Like that's what this group looks like. They should be doing, but they're like at an actual strip club in the VIP section.
Interesting vibe.
A stripper starts twerking, and Lucille says her ass looks like 2 water balloons.
But she says that to Joan. She's like, it's like 2 water balloons, huh? And Joan is like laughing. It was kind of cute. Like they're getting along.
Cute. Actually, this is like the most fun I've ever seen Lucille. Like when I heard she was going to the strip club, I thought she was going to be like shutting shit down. You know what I mean?
No, she's the one who was like, we're going to have an open bar though, right? At the wedding, remember?
She's fun.
She is. And I like seeing them let loose together. It's cute. It's a little weird it's happening at a female strip club, but whatever gets them there, you know? At
this point, someone like, I probably pot star Laura, like commissions a lap dance for Joan. And I'm like, why?
You know what? They were having fun.
We're having fun. So maybe like Laura just like knows them better than I do. But I was like, I just never heard of that in my life.
Me neither.
When they're like mentioning like, oh, you're going to get a lap dance. Joan goes, you want her to put her bums on me?
Oh, I didn't hear that.
So cute.
And Joan like sticks cash into the G-string of the stripper.
And then Joan is like says that she's feeling weird about getting a lap dance in front of her mother-in-law.
You would think.
You would.
Yeah.
That's pretty normal. But she's noticing that Lucille's really enjoying it. And then like Lucille's actually having the best day of her life.
Yeah, she's like giddy.
We need a screenshot of this. There's a moment where Lucille has her tongue out and she's like air grabbing the stripper's ass. She's like, I'm like, girl.
Wait, I love Lucille.
I know. And then next episode we find out she did some fucked up shit like Sarper. We love her for now.
She wears her wedding dress to the wedding.
She's like, I paid for this, by the way. Anyway, that concludes that.
Yeah. But with them, it really does seem like the negative plot lines are over.
I know.
And now they're just going to get married.
Now that the wedding is paid for, the dowry's paid. Like,
there's no more conflict.
There's no more, yeah.
Yeah. Famous last words,
for now.
maybe. Let's see.
There's a whole thing because they realize Lucille might be bi, and they're like, it would be a deal breaker if your mom is bi.
I cannot marry into this family. We're still in Deadwood, South Dakota, my favorite town in America. And it has, on the screen, it says 29 days to wed.
By the way, this pisses me off. Why is everyone else getting married in 1 millisecond? And then they like.
Also with Juan and Jessica, I'm like, sorry, like there's literally nothing going on. Like they're definitely going to get married, in my opinion. So why do we seemingly have the plan of just dragging it out over the next like 3 episodes or however many there's left?
I know.
So Juan and his cousin Leonardo are in a bedroom at the rental house, and they're packing their bags because they're all leaving that day. Neither of them have a hangover, they say, thank God, because I was so stressed in the last episode there, and I was like, oh my God, mama, drink your electrolytes. And Juan tells Leonardo that yesterday He got a lot of problems, as he says. He told Jessica about the cruise call and it didn't go well. And it's like, yeah, Juan, it didn't go well because you told her right when she
At
got
her
back.
bachelorette party.
Like, that was so mean of you. Like, the fact that she's not seemingly more pissed at him shows that she's like a nice, really nice person. Like, I would be aggravated if he did that to me. And Juan, in an interview, says, I don't know if it was a good idea or if it wasn't a good idea to tell her last night about the call.
I would say it wasn't.
It was a bad idea. It's a good idea to talk to her about it. It was not a good idea to do it at that time. And he continues and says, but I mean, I thought she was happy and just had a lot of fun. It seems like it wasn't the right time. And I'm like, wow, that is such a fascinating train of logic that like, oh, she's in a good mood, so I should tell her something that's going to put her in a really bad mood. It's almost like he's thinking like, well, she's already up here, so she'll only go down to a neutral mood. It's like, no, if anything, it's like, I don't know enough about math, but it's almost like exponentially the opposite. It's like if you're in such a good mood and someone tells you something that aggravating, you're in like a way worse mood than if you're just neutral.
I agree. Especially for like kind of like a day that has like special meaning. Like now her bachelorette party memory is like that.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, that's the thing that's going to overshadow it. What a horrible feeling. And Leonardo, his cousin, in an interview says he thinks that Juan's macho man is coming out because he's not used to his wife working and supporting him exclusively. And Leonardo says that Jessica needs to understand Juan's perspective. And we cut to Megan and Jessica in the kitchen. Megan asks how last night was. And I had to just say, also side note, Megan was so likable.
She was, it was a real personality shift. I was like,
I literally think that every time we saw her before this, she was drunk as fuck and like literally being erratic.
Also, I feel like the producers are like telling her what to do, maybe to some degree.
In the
I don't
previous
know.
or now?
I don't know. Maybe in the past. I don't know. Like it did feel like she was like genuinely worked up about like the cheating stuff. Like it did, but then now she's like super different.
It was a really distinct shift. I mean, she's a lot more enjoyable, so I like it, but I was like, that's really weird. So I don't know what's going on with that. But Megan asks how last night was, and Jessica tells her that she and Juan got into an argument and explains what it was about. And Megan's like, he's got to learn to let that go. And I'm like, yeah, Megan, I agree.
Also, yeah, like letting things go. How interesting.
Okay, yeah. She learned that lesson, I guess.
This cracked me up because like David was also there, and Jessica was like to David, like obviously to Megan, but like she's like, well, Daddy was frustrating Mommy, and I'm like,
you better knock that off.
Yeah,
you better knock that off. Oh my god, imagine if I started doing that with Mac to you. I'm like,
Sophie is getting overstimulated and it's ruining the podcast.
And Jessica agrees with what Megan says about him needing to let it go and says that he has to learn to find opportunity here. Juan and Leonardo join them in the kitchen, and Leonardo says goodbye to everyone and leaves. And Juan and Jessica get to talking, just the two of them. And Jessica asks, what was that happened last night? Like, what was that about? Like, girl, what the fuck? And Juan apologizes and says that, like, there's an opportunity for him on the cruise. And Jessica says that she gets it, but wants him to find a job and be happy here instead. And he says, quote, I'm not saying I'm not. It's just like, so like passive. I don't know. I'm just like, Juan, you need to take control of your life, low key. And I think it's reflected in the way he's speaking. It's like this weird passive nature. And Jessica says that this affects her and David also. And
I am happy to see her centering David. Like, not that her feelings aren't valid, but like ultimately, like the real reason they are linked is really being David's parents in a way. Like he has such a commitment to his son. So I am glad that she is centering that.
Yeah. Also, I mean, they didn't talk about it really right now, but it's like, dude, when your kid is so little, it's like you can't replace that time, especially. It doesn't make sense what he wants to do with what he says are his values, you know? And Jessica points out to Juan how much he hates being away from David for only one day, like ever since he came here, and how much it would suck to be away for 8 months at a time.
Yeah.
And Juan agrees that it would be hard. And it's like, well, number one, it's like really sweet that he like really misses his son. After,
I know.
I really get the feeling that he's kind of like panicked, really realizing the reality of where he now lives and what that means for his career and just his lifestyle and friendships and all that. I mean, it's an insane adjustment. Like, I really genuinely feel for him, but I feel like he's in this really panicked mindset of like, no, okay, I have to come up with a solution that can fix it and blah, blah. And it's like, you're not thinking.
He's not being rational. Yeah.
At all. Yeah. It doesn't seem to be a situation where he's like, oh my God, I want to get the fuck out of here. I don't even want to be in my son's life. Like, I don't want to be with Jessica. It's like he wants to, but he's like coming to the wrong conclusion.
I think he's also just coming to terms with the reality of a situation, which we've talked about, which is like it really fucking sucks to give up every single thing in your life to immerse yourself fully into your partner's world where you have no personal context. Like, that is a bad situation. Like, can people make it work? I'm sure some people do, but like in general, like it's one thing to be like moving to a place you always wanted to live or whatever, or like you have some friends there, or but to be like, the city's in the middle of nowhere, there's no opportunity, the only people he can talk to are like directly his wife's friend. Like, that is a lot. And I
Who didn't even like him when he first got there.
I know. I like, that would send me into like a panic spiral. Like, I do get it.
And he says that they'll work together on this and it will work out. And Jessica in an interview says that she did not sign up to be a cruise wife. And they talked about this before he even came here a lot. So if he does go on the cruise, they're done. And that's an interesting reveal that like this is something that they explicitly
It's
talked
not
about.
coming up like for the first time right now. Yeah.
I'm impressed with how calm she is in the moment, because if this happened and it's like something we explicitly discussed before, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like I would get a lot more annoyed than she seems to be. So I have to praise her for that.
Although I will say, I agree. She's very even keeled. She also though doesn't seem like the kind of person who, when she's like feeling more like dysfunctional, would go to a place of anger. I feel like she seems like the kind of person who would more be like almost like the silent treatment direction, just like from her personality.
I kind of get that. Or just like put her head down and like ignore.
Yeah, just or like passive aggressive, or like I feel like that'd be. So I do wonder if to some degree her just being a little more like curt or something is like the equivalent of someone else getting a little bit loud.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, it doesn't always express in the same way. True. So now we're back in Wyoming, and Megan and Herbie, love, come over to Juan and Jessica's house. And this was such a funny moment to me. So they tell Juan that they came over to make paper flowers together so that they can make those as decoration. They can use those as decorations at the wedding to be more Colombian. And Juan's is like, I've never seen paper flowers in Colombia in my life.
He's like, that's not what I asked for.
But also he's like, low-key, I feel like he's like, that's like a thing in Mexico. I think it is, right? And it's like not Colombian. And then Megan's like, what are you talking about? It's totally a Colombian thing. And I'm like,
they literally said, you asked for Colombian. This is Colombian.
And he's like, no, it's not.
The Colombian would know.
Well, I know. I was really like confused because I don't know anything about Colombia, but I'm like, I'm gonna defer to the Colombian. And the fact that they're like, yeah, it is. What are you talking about? I'm like, okay, guys. So now they are making these paper flowers together that Juan's like, fuck, it's not even Colombian. That's like literally so funny to me.
Also, they like tried to make it Colombian by being like, what are the colors of the Colombian flag? I'm like, okay, I'm sorry.
So tacky.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to be too critical because like they are trying to condense a country's culture into the colors of their flag is so funny to me.
It's also so America coded. That's some shit that we would do.
But also it's like imagine you tell someone like, oh, I'd love to have like some American wedding traditions, and you mean like I don't know what's really American, but like no, but I'm just like you mean like I don't know, like your dad walking down the aisle or what, like whatever is your, and they like get like all this like American flag shit.
Just like extremely literal.
Yeah.
So Megan asks Juan, as they're doing this, about the cruise conversation that he had with Jessica and asks why he wants to go back. And
He loves an intervention.
I was like, I bet Juan is like activated by Megan trying to fucking put her nose into their business again. I'm like, Megan, anyone but you. Actually, have Herbie start this conversation. Like, leave Juan alone. You're going to trigger him. And he explains that it's to make money. And she says that the cruise life isn't a family life.
Juan says his career is in the ocean, which is like such a funny thing to say. But there was an interview with Megan and Herbie, and Megan is saying, like, in no uncertain terms, she's like, Juan cannot go back on the cruise. It would be bad for the family. And Herbie has a really weird look to him. Like it's giving like, oh shit, I signed up to go on a cruise. Like it's like he's like cornered. I don't know, like it's really odd. Like he looks like he either knows something she doesn't, or like,
ooh,
I gotta go back and like really, it was interesting. I mean, it's literally like if we're talking and I'm like, that everyone with a brain hates this, and you're thinking like, I just bought one of those. You know what I mean?
Everyone hates 90 Day Fiancé, and I'm like, oh, yeah, everyone, this stupid piece of shit show.
It's the same. Like that was his energy. And I couldn't really figure out why, but it was like a really strong vibe.
Maybe he got like super high and was really paranoid in front of the camera.
Still drunk from Deadwood or whatever.
Probably. And so Megan and Herbie leave eventually. And it's just Juan and Jessica at home. And Juan, like, obviously, what?
And David.
And also Dotton, or whatever his name is.
Duty.
Dookie. Duty and Dookie are the kids' names.
Not you bullying children.
Well, in the first episode, one of them did throw Dookie at the other one.
That's true.
They earned them. Duty and Dookie are their names. So,
Just so funny to me. I just think poop humor is so funny.
really gets me. So Juan thanks Jessica for incorporating his culture into the wedding more, which is just so funny because it's not his culture, but
It's like, thanks for whatever that was.
you know what? That's nice of him. But anyway, Jessica says that she understands that he wants to provide for the family, like monetarily, but she didn't sign up to be a crew's wife. And he can make that choice, but he would lose her.
Also, I'm sorry, but the way they keep using cruise wife, it's like army wife. Like, it's really cracking me up.
Like, is cruise wife like a thing that, dude, maybe this is a
Oh my
thing.
God, you know, there's like Etsy merch that's like, yeah, I'm a cruise wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My husband works on the
On a
ocean.
boat.
Yeah.
Yours is on land.
Yeah. I didn't choose this ocean life, but I am a cruise wife or something like that. I really, for a while, when my husband was like kind of pivoting his career and like deciding what to do, I was really trying to push him to become forklift certified, mainly because I want to get one of those shirts that's like, yeah, I'm the wife of a forklift certified man.
My husband can operate a forklift. What's your superpower?
Yes. I asked him so many times to buy me a shirt like that, and he won't do it. He's like, I don't want to be outside with you wearing that. But honestly, I think this is a very appropriate ultimatum. I mean, I guess you could call it that. Like, it's just not even an ultimatum. It's just like, yeah, if you do this thing that we already agreed that you would not do, it's a deal breaker for me. Yeah. And I appreciate her being upfront about it. And Juan in an interview says that Jessica doesn't do stuff like this normally, like telling him what to do. And so it feels unfair to him, which is just stupid as fuck, because it's literally not unfair. It's the consequences of your own actions. But in the moment, he says something completely different. So I'm like, I don't know what to believe. No, honestly, so many times like people say like crazy shit in interviews that like does not seem that they actually feel that way. So take it with a grain of salt. But he did say that. And in the moment, Juan says that he loves his job, but if the choice is between that and his family, he chooses his family. And it's a sweet moment. And basically, he says he's not sure what work he'll do here in Wyoming, but he's going to try. And like, duh. I mean, sorry, but like, he'd be a fucking idiot to say anything else. Like, and that's what it is. I mean, I do have a lot of empathy for Juan, as we said, but like, you really got to get your head in the game.
I know.
If there's a baby involved, I'm sorry. Like, if you do, as he says, want to be a part of that baby's life, you can't be dicking around. You have to just be honest about this is what's going on, and you're going to try to make the best of it.
Is spiraling in part because he literally can't work right now. Like, I feel like if he had like a random normal job, he'd actually feel a lot better.
I agree. Good luck to him in Torrington, Wyoming.
Well, that concludes episode 15. It was really special to do it in person. It's a little weird, but fun to try something new.
I know, it feels very surreal.
Thank you for joining us. We love all of our listeners. And please join us on social media at MyBestViewPod. Please give us a like, a follow. I'm just going to say something, and we've discussed this. Mm-hmm. We've got a lot of people in our lives saying things like, well, we've
got a lot of people in our lives
saying things like, I just saw the TikTok you posted. It was so funny. Like, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, where's the like?
Click the button. You know, like, nice thoughts are good, but like, we want smash that like button.
Smash that freaking like button.
Make the plus sign go away.
And we're just so thrilled that you're here with us every week, and cannot wait to keep doing this. We only have 3 more episodes of the season left. I can't believe it. I mean, of the main part of the show. Then we have the reunion episode.
And we're going to try to do it in one, even though it's a 2-part thing.
Yes, we'll just do that in one for
because
everyone's benefit.
You know that shit is 90% recaps. It's going to be like, well, when we were in Mexico, and then it's like a montage of shit we still remember. You know what I mean?
I'm also curious what we're going to recap next. Like, I wonder, we want to recap something that's happening live or as close to live as possible. So I guess just like whatever 90 Day shit's coming out at that time.
It's like the worst spinoff you could think of. And we're like, okay, 90 Day, but they like flip a house together or some shit.
I would love that. But we're just so grateful you're here, and we can't wait to see you next week. Bye.